Dopamin. Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it. Dopamin.
Stop,
Dopamine. Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it. Dopamine.
Back on the tail of Gunnar. He's looking to make an overtake already. Down the inside he goes.
Is he gonna He's gonna do it!
Oh, with Hackett now up into P9. Down the inside he goes. Another aggressive move on the other Mercedes driver. Is he gonna make a mistake? Doesn't look like.
Closing. Problem is if he goes.
Oh, that's nice for Broad Adam, moving up to P7.
As he's currently looking to gain about 3 or 4 points. Oh, and is Nellboy going to go for it down the inside of Waza? Seems like he is, and he makes up that position. Beautiful overtake by Nellboy.
12 races, multiple divisions, 20 drivers.
All that sound good? Then why not join us now ahead of the new season? The link to our Discord will be in the description, and we hope to see you on track with us.
Delta T Racing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to DTR for Division 1, Season 15, Round 3 here at Suzuka, Japan. Oh, that was a little bit longer than expected for the drivers to get ready, but we apologise for the delay. We do have a couple of drivers coming out onto the track now. While they are doing so, we will go on with Benny as he goes round and bring up the drivers and the constructors. So as we can see, Benny with 2 podiums to his name is in the lead of the drivers' standings as we are right now. Theo, the debutant for this season, is in 2nd place after getting a 2nd and a 3rd place consecutively. Sportmad came in last week, won the race, and jumps up to P3 with just 1 run. We also have Mars Ranger up there. A 3rd and a 5th for him puts him on the same points as Sportmad. Meanwhile, over on the constructors, Red Bull are ahead by 3 points, ahead of the reserve team of Cadillac. They can thank Grelis for the majority of those points, I believe. With 25 points to his name, 2 4th place finishes. Aston Martin are a little ways away on 33 points behind, but that is Theo all by himself. Talking of Theo, he has got his teammate this evening in Sid, his debut for DTR. We would have also had Solche as well, but he is having wheel issues. So while Benny comes round the final corner, we will go on board with him. Watch his first lap of Japan this evening. Into turn 1, brake for turn 2. Into the S's. This is a very awkward place around this track. You have to get it right. Bit of a wobble from Benny there, but it's only for his banker, so he's just getting his eye in, making sure that he can get through there cleanly. Nice and fast through the double right here of Degner 1 and 2. Bit of a wobble on the exit. Got his wheel onto the curb. Nice tight line onto the apex of the Dunlop hairpin. Keeping a very tight line to the right here as you come around to the spoon curve. You need to get this absolutely right, otherwise you lose a lot of time. That seems pretty good. Gets a little bit of a tow from the Ferrari that's ahead of him. Coming up and over the bridge now to 130R. The fastest corner on the circuit. Very calmly taken into the Casio triangle. Very hesitant on the turn-in, but it looks good and clean. Let's see what the time will be. 1:27.5, a good lap from Benny for his first lap. Stewart is just under 2 seconds behind. Bogarovsky, a 29.3, puts himself into P2. We have the McLaren of Monjo, 29.3, and Sid showing up tonight, a 28.8 in the Aston Martin. Sportmad, as we have come to expect from the reserve, slamming it onto provisional pole at the first time of asking. We now have one of the RBs coming around the Casio triangle. It is Havoc Connor, and he has got his teammate right behind him on track as well. Goes up to P5 for Havoc Connor. Up to P3 for Miyagi. Miyagi was a little hesitant today on whether he would be able to make it, but glad to see he is here. Theo has invalidated his first run. We have Cassell in the Ferrari. Will be the next man to set a lap time around here, unless something untoward happens in the final sector here. It's a very quick final sector, even though there is a tricky chicane to deal with. Gets through there quite nice and clean. Let's see, he jumps up to P7. Who is next to come around? Theo is going again by the look of it. Let's have a look. Just does. Let's see. Yes, he has plenty of fuel on board, so that is good news for him. But we will have Benny Buno ahead of him and Magic Poop Cannon, the last man to join us this evening, and no fault of his own. The game didn't want to let him into the lobby, so we had to try and get him in, but he's here, so it rounds us out to 17 drivers for this evening's race. That was a PB, of course it was. It's his first time running around here tonight. Grelis in the chat being a little critical of Benny's line, I believe that is. Up to P4 for Magic Poop Cannon. Benny Buno up to P12. Theo comes across the line, puts it on P5 for the time being. That is a good question, Johnny. We did ask that amongst ourselves earlier on. Why did Grelis back out of tonight's race? But then again, I don't think he wants Cadillac to win the Constructors' title. So Skipper coming up to the Dunlop hairpin. Very nicely done for the Sauber driver. Apparently, Grelis claims to be ill. I'm not sure how true that is. He could have just had a very chest up aches. That's what happens when you eat too many meat and potato pies, Grelis. It's called heartburn. As Skipper now comes around 130R into the Casio triangle. Very neat and tidy as we expect from Skipper. Takes the wide line to the line though. And it's a 130.6. Now we have Mars Ranger out on track as well. I wonder, is that... Yep, that's Theo coming around to go into the pits. Stewart is out, or should I say TGL Rodney. We will go on with Mars Ranger as he is coming up to the end of his lap now. Hopefully he doesn't get impeded by the Aston Martin. It could be close. Maybe a little off-putting, but not impeding. Up to P4 for the McLaren driver. Let's go back on with Stewart as he comes around 130R. Little bit of a slide on entry, and he's not happy with that run. So let's have a look at our debutant for tonight. A lot of us who raced with him in another league know him as Pid. I often called him Skid. But we'll just stick with Sid for the season, unless he really annoys us. As he comes round the Dunlop hairpin, very tight line, very cleanly done. Into Spoon Curve, give us a decent camera, thank you. Oh, looked a bit wide on the exit. I know that curb can slow you down. Round 130R we go. Keeps it as a tighter line through 130R than most. That looked very close to an invalidation through the exit of the chicane there, but that puts him up to P4. 7.5 improvement from Sid. Now let us see, who have we got coming round now? It's Moncho up to P8 at 28.5 from the McLaren man. Miyagi is back at it again in the bright pink V-carb. Oh, and Sid has retired on track. I do apologise, Miyagi, but we need to see... Okay, it was there, apparently. I didn't catch if Miyagi actually improved, but he's invalidated here. Was this his lap? No, he's got no ERS, so he is happy enough to have finished his run. Now we've got Ricker coming through the final chicane. Let's see where the Lithuanian man can go. He goes to P7 with a 28.4. Who else is currently out there? Benny, not happy with his run. Cassell is coming into the pits. So we will stick with Sport Mad at this moment in time. Sid saying that the grass jumped up and smacked him in the face in the chat there. How likely that is, I do not know. Sportmad now setting purple sector 2, round 130R. We know that Sportmad is very, very quick, and he proved it last week, especially around Jed. Oh, and that was a little bit too trigger happy on the exit. He spun up the rear tyres and slid wide out of the exit. We have both of the Haas's are on outlaps, so we will stay on with Theo as he comes around to finish his lap. To the Casio chicane. Rather neat, a little bit wide on the entry, but it's faster at 28.2. Good lap. Who do we have now? Skipper is on an outlap about to start. We will go on with Stuart, who is on his flying lap now. He is behind a Haas, though. Let's see, does the Haas impede him? Although, if that Haas is... I don't know if that was Magic Poop Cannon. No, it wasn't. It was Kazingle getting well out of the way. Well done, Jack. Stuart got a little bit of a toe before the hill. A little wide in the second part of the chicane, but looks to be clean enough. Enough to get him a 28.488. A good lap from Stuart there. Who was that? That was Benny Bruno. Just set a 28.271 to jump up to P6. We now have Magic Poop Cannon jumps up to P4. 28.0 from the Plonker, who always takes his time getting into the lobby. Mars Ranger is about to start a lap, so is Cassell. Theo is finishing his lap, so we will go on with Skipper, who is currently doing a lap, I believe. Find out in just a second. Yep, he is setting a flying time. Let's see. It's an improvement, but not too much, just under a 10th of improvement. We will now go on with Kavolis to watch his first flying lap of this evening. That's a purple sector 2 from the Alpine man. He is not messing around tonight. Granted, he played games with Grelis and his teammate last week in Jeddah. Up to P6 for Kavolis, a 28.1. Good lap from the Alpine. Let us see. Who was it who was going on to a lap? Poop Cannon had already done his, I believe. Next man will be Theo. Could be wrong. Oh, yeah, it's going to be Theo. Sorry, not Theo. Mars Ranger. Comes across the line, up to P2, 27.424 from the McLaren man. Good run from him there. Let's see who is next. Not Skipper. It's not going to be Cavolis. He has set his time already. There is a gaggle of cars going into the Dunlop chicane right now. One of them is Barry Bogorovsky, who is on his flying lap. Cars ahead of him, I don't believe are. Unless Jack is on a flying lap. Does have the battery. He does have the fuel on board for it, so we'll stick with him for now. Although, he might have a bit of trouble coming up to the back of Miyagi, and that looked like a bit of an impede there. Might want to report that. That could have been a good lap from Jack. That's unfortunate for him. Barry Bogorovsky letting other cars go past him. So I think he may have messed up his lap. Havoc Connor comes past him there. Start his lap. Who is on lap? Moncho has just started. Mars Ranger is coming around to likely go into the pits. Yep. We'll go on with Sport Mad at the moment as he comes through the Degners. I don't know what it is. His car always looks really unstable to me. And oh, there you go. There's the proof. A little bit lead-footed coming out of the hairpin. Grelis, I agree, it could be a really good race up top. There's several really quick drivers just setting absolutely brilliant times. The real question is, will they get through the first sector cleanly? Sportmad setting a personal best in Sector 2. Grelis, I agree. Unstable can be fast, but you have to keep the car in a straight line. That's the issue that I have. Sportmad sets a new fastest lap of a 1:27.282. Absolutely amazing. And just behind him, Mr. Miyagi, 27.284. Just 2 thousandths off. Let's have a look at Havoc Connor as he comes around the final corner. Where can he put himself? Up to P12, a 28.495, a good lap from Connor there. We have a Red Bull of Benny coming up to the line now. And he improves by 200ths, but it's not enough to move up any positions. Theo now coming round to the final corner. Up to P5 for him, 27.590, a good lap from the Aston Martin. We have one of the Alpines. It is Stewart looking to improve. He improves by 300ths, but it's not enough. And Benny Buno has spun it in the Casio triangle. That is not what you want to do there. Ricker comes across the line. Where does he go? Also does not improve. So we've got Magic Poop Cannon has invalidated and is smashing the braking boards because why the hell not? He doesn't have a front wing. Miyagi is not going faster. He is done. So that is your qualifying. And give me a different camera, please. So we're just now waiting for those who did decide to go into the pits to either get into the pits or retire from the session. I really wish people would understand. As soon as you hit the pit limit line, you can hit retire from the session. It would speed things up immensely for us. So there you have it. Sport Mad is on pole for this evening's race. Beside him is Mr. Miyagi. Row 2 is Mars Ranger and Benny. Row 3 is Theo Magic Poop Cannon. Row 4 is Sid and Cavolis. Row 5 is Benny Bruno and Ricka. Row 6 is TGL Rodney and Havoc Connor. Row 7 is Moncho and Cassell. Row 8 is Barry Bogorovsky and Kazingle. And Skipper is all on his lonesome at the back of the grid. So, with all of you guys now being in the chat, what are your predictions? Who do you think is going to win in the chat? Give me your podiums. Just while the drivers are sorting out their strategies for this evening's race, if you do wish to join the league and race with us, hit the Discord in the description below and come say hello. And you can either be a member of staff, a steward, commentator, or even a driver. Everyone is welcome, no matter what your skill. Just do it. So Nathan is saying Sport Mad, Benny and Theo. Kayleigh is betting on Magic Poop Cannon for a podium today. And yes, Sid has returned. I won't say what you actually put, but maybe if he screws things up. I wonder if anyone told him there's a formation lap. So we will go on with Mars Ranger as we go round for the formation lap. So Johnny is saying a minimum 2 DNF and 1 full safety car. Nathan is saying for Sid to DNF. These were not the predictions I was asking for, but okay, fellas. I know Nathan has already given me his podium prediction. Right, now is the time to have a sip of cider and a hit on my vape while I wait. Come to think of it, we will have a look at the tyres. So, everyone bar 2 going on the mediums for the start of this race. Sport Mad and Moncho, the 2 nutcases going on the hard on the first stint. We'll see how that plays out for them. Purely for the fact that they will potentially be slower due to the tyre disparity between the compounds. Grellis is saying Sport Mad for P1, Bottle It Benny P2 and Miyagi P3. Okay. Now, Grellis, you don't need to be calling Nathan a muppet. We already know he is one. He knows it as well. Just waiting for the last drivers to line up on the grid. Benny Bruno going very wide out onto the grass there. I don't think that's going to help him with grip on the start. Okay, Moncho going very awkwardly there. Skipper the last man to line up. There we go. 1 red light, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. That was not very quick at all. Or not very slow at all. They didn't get held much. Let's go to the wide. And Mars Ranger is already up into P2. Straight away off the line. Gets himself past Miyagi for the higher podium position. Miyagi seems to be a little bit slow on starting tonight. Sid ahead of his teammate Theo in 5 and 6. Miyagi is dropping back from the 2 ahead of him. He's already out of the 1 second detection. It won't matter this coming lap, but it doesn't look good for Miyagi. I think Grelis might have a, well, a poor prediction is the best way to put it. Oh, Benny has gone, not Benny, sorry. Masked Ranger went very wide through Spoon there. And they have now both dropped out of the 1 second detection to Sport Mad. Although Miyagi used the his ERS by the look of it to get back up into P2 and catch up to Sport Mad. DRS will now be enabled this lap. Mars Ranger going for a move on Miyagi without the aid of DRS. It's, oh, bit of wheel banging, but all's fair. Benny going for the move, or got cut off. The door was closed on him. Sid is sniffing around, but losing a bit of time there through the S's. And there is a yellow in sector 1. It's Moncho. Give me a better camera, please. I want the better camera, please. Ah, Christ. Right, okay, never mind. So, Sport Mad quite comfortably out ahead. 1.5, 1.6 seconds ahead of P2. Miyagi is going to be praying that he can pull away from Mars Ranger and Benny. Benny up the inside of Spoon. That is unexpected place to make a move. Maybe he took notes on Mars Ranger going wide through there last time round. Sid also made the move past Mars Ranger up the hill. Mars Ranger dives up the inside of chicane. That is not going to work for you there, sir. New fastest lap from Sportman. Let's see. Where is the closest fight? Hoop Cannon is floating around with his times behind Benny Bruno. Oh, this is a lot closer than Jeddah last week. Although, saying that, this man has just absolutely run off down the road. If he carries this on, it's going to be in the bag for him. Theo has spun and lost part of his wing. Coming out of Degner 2. There is no damage on Moncho. It looks like he hasn't... Oh, and he has decided to give it a good old slide, though. Didn't look like he went into the pits, but Who knows? Let's go back up with the front five even. From P2 down to P5, there is a DRS train. Sid and Benny fighting it out. Last Ranger with the new fastest lap, the 1:31.691. Sid going for the inner sideline. Oh, that's a bit rough and tumble from Sid. I'm pretty sure Benny will not be pleased about that. So, as Sportmad has pulled away from P2, these four who are fighting it out now have pulled away from Magic Poop Cannon. He will be hoping to catch the back of Mars Ranger this lap, just so that he can get the DRS. Theo comes into the pits to change that front wing. Grellis calling Sportmad a sweaty guy out front. Yeah, but Grellis, if you were racing as well, you'd also be sweating out in front as well. We all know it. That's how you've won your championships. Benny Buno just inside the DRS of Magic Poop Cannon. Poop Cannon has made inroads on Mars Ranger. He's made up about 4 tenths, but he doesn't seem to have the straight line speed coming up the hill to catch into that 1 second gap. Then our next gap starts with Havoc Connor in P10. Fastest lap from Mr. Miyagi there. Havoc Connor is 1.3 seconds behind Kavolis. Now, we do have to remember, Havoc Connor is in Division 1, but he is also a Division 2 driver. So he's using this more as practice for tomorrow night. Meanwhile, I'm sat here talking about it. Kavolis and Rick are getting very close to each other through the S's there. Seems Kavolis is very stable through the first sector. Although I say that and he goes wide. Through the Dunlop hairpin. Wrecker doing pretty much what I do and going into full recharge mode into the hairpin just to try and get as much battery in the car as humanly possible. Let's go back up to the front. Sid is still trying to keep up with Miyagi at this point. Sportmad is not too far ahead. He hasn't really made inroads to get away at this point. I say that and the time just starts extending. Sid and Benny going line astern into turns 1 and 2. Closely followed by Masked Ranger. Oh, we have a couple of passes here. Cassell gets himself past Havoc Connor and Barry Bogorovsky gets himself past TGL Rodney. It seems Miyagi struggles with Sector 1 a little. He has dropped 4 attempts in 1 sector. Either he is struggling or Sportmad is just insanely quick through Sector 1. Either or both could be true. Have a look who is closest together right now. Would be Bogorovsky on the back of Havoc Connor. Of course, they are sister teams, but they have no affiliation in our league. They will be fighting tooth and nail. I know these two are good friends. I'm pretty sure they are going to be in a VC together tonight. And if something happens between them, there'll be a fair amount of shouting and cursing. As Benny has now got himself past Sid with DRS. Bogorovsky does the same to Havoc Connor. Nice and early. Done the job. Now it is on to the Ferrari ahead of him. I will say, I do feel for Moncho out the back. I have been in his position where you're running around by yourself. It's rather boring. And Sid has got himself a 3-second time penalty at the Degners. Now, whether that was a corner cut on the inside or whether he drifted wide, we do not know. I did not catch it because I am absolutely useless. But what I can do is show the replay of Moncho going wide through the Degners as well. In court. Catches the front right tyre with a bit of a lock-up and it sends the rear sliding. See who is the closest. It is Benny on Miyagi. Benny is going to have Miyagi here unless Miyagi decides to burn all of his battery. He does squeeze him to the inside, but it's not enough. Benny gets through. Mars Ranger also gets himself past Sid. Stewart is now past Havoc Connor. These two have a bit of work to do to catch up to Barry Bogorovsky ahead of them. And Poop Cannon's round. At the end of the S's, that's a strange one. And he got... Oh, collision with Kavolis? Okay. We'll have to see about that one. He is missing his right end plate on the front wing. Let's see, has Kavolis has some wing damage on the left side of his car as well. So I'm guessing they will both be coming into the pits relatively soon to get that fixed. It's unfortunate for the Alpine man, he just won't be able to keep with these cars around him. He has to let two of them through. He can't make 130R. That's how bad the damage is. So Kavolis will come into the pits, slap on a set of hard tyres and change that front wing. Let's go back up here. So there are significant gaps up the front here as Stewart goes past Bogorovsky. Skipper is now ahead of Kavolis, Magic Poop Cannon as well. Bogorovsky is the closest driver to anyone else on track. But as I was saying, there are significant gaps now, with Sportmad being 2.8 or thereabouts ahead of Benny. Benny being 1.7 ahead of Miyagi. Mars Ranger is quite close. Cassell with the 3-second time penalty. Only the second man to get one this evening. Talking of penalties, Sid is next on our list, 4 seconds behind. Getting a little bit annoyed with himself by the look of it, going on the grass and not helping himself. He's now 4.5 seconds behind Masked Ranger ahead. Benny Buno is 1.4 behind Sid. He will be wanting to catch up to the Aston Martin, use that DRS to try and get away from Ricker, who is now roughly 7/10 behind him. Miyagi is into the pits, the first man from the front group to come into the pits. Sid follows and gets a 10-second time penalty and retires in the pit lane. Who's going to tell him? So we have a significant gap back to Benny Buno from Mars Ranger. 6 seconds is the gap. then 4 seconds back to Cassell, 1.7 back to Stewart, and then 1.5 seconds back to Hamilton. Miyagi's not dropping off, he came into the pits. So he is on the fresh hard tyres, which I can bring up now. So Miyagi is on the freshest tyre apart from Rika. Let's see who is the closest. It is Barry Bogorovsky on the back of Kazingo. Yeah, I think Miyagi was starting to drop off purely for the fact that his tyres were dying. Benny Buno, not Benny Buno, M. Benny is now into the pits for his pit stop. Mars Ranger goes by. Benny Buno goes by. It's always a nightmare having both of them in the same session. And Benny comes out behind Barry Bogorovsky, his teammate. So they could work together and swap DRS to get back up into the front of the group. I am glad to see that Jack is not struggling. As far as I know, he is back on his wheel for a couple of months, as his missus has gone home for a little while, and he is allowing himself to drive on his wheel again instead of controlling. So if only he had done that last season, McLaren might have had more points for season 14 in Division 2. It's good to see he seems to be enjoying the race this evening, so I'm glad to see it. Sport Mad is now 7.5 seconds up the track from the car behind him. So, Grelis, since you are in the chat, what is the betting and likelihood on the pit stop of Sport Mad? What is the pit lap, would you reckon? As a man who doesn't often run the hards first. Benny Bruno, Havoc Connor, and Kazingle all into the pits at the same time, and Havoc Connor gets himself a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane. Maybe Benny needs... Oh, Benny goes very wide there. That was not the best for the Red Bulls. Let's have a look at gap to leader, since you are asking. So, for Mars Ranger, it is 8.4. Benny is 24.8 behind, and it is slowly coming down. It does like to jump around here. But let's see by the end of this lap if he is any closer. Lap 16 for Sportmad to come in. That sounds like a reasonable lap to come in for the hards, to be fair. So let's put the interval back on just for now. Mars Ranger now comes into the pits. Miyagi gets himself past Barry Bogorovsky finally as well. Stewart is also into the pits off of the mediums. So let's have a look at gap to leader now. It is just about 24 seconds. Is that enough around here to get in and back out ahead? Then again, he will have the fresher tyres. They will die off quicker, but he will have the overwhelming speed for the first 6 or so laps. Let's have a look at the action behind. We've got Havoc Connor up the rear end of TGL Stewart right now. He is the closest man to anyone else on the circuit. So we'll keep an eye on this and see if there is going to be a move either in the DRS or even potentially before it. He might go for it into the Casio Triangle. Never know. Sorry, I do need to have a sip of my drink, which is getting late. That's a fair point, Grellis, but it does depend on setup as well. You have to remember that. Benny now setting the fastest lap. Miyagi supplanting him with a 1:31.026. Benny sets the fastest lap and Miyagi says, "Thank you, I'll have that." And now Skipper is into the pits as well. Is Havoc Connor going to be close enough for a pass on Stewart this time around? It does not look like it. Just not quite enough straight line speed in that V-carb. And Theo has now joined the back of this group as well. Now, talking to last season's commentator, Benny will have to hope he has the straight line speed advantage and an unreal ability to exit the final chicane. Sportmad seems to be running high downforce. I expect him to be fine for tyres. There you go. That is your prediction from Grellis for when it comes to Sportmad versus Benny up the front here. But for the time being, until I see that Williams come into the pits, we will stay on with this fight that's going on. Because these three are the three closest on track, apart from Magic Poop Cannon, who has just been lapped by Sportmad. While we're here, we will have a look at penalties. So, Cassell is on 3 seconds, Havoc Connor is on 10 seconds. It just looks like Havoc Connor does not have the drive coming out of that chicane to catch the back of Stewart. Stewart has immense straight line speed, potentially burning a lot of ERS down the straight every lap just to keep Connor behind. Connor has now lost out on that DRS. If he can catch up in the next sector, that will be good for the V-carb, but apart from that, he will be at risk from Theo and Cavolis behind him. So, if you are just tuning in, we have had one Aston Martin retire from the session. He was sick and tired of going on the grass and not being able to get past the cars ahead of him. Grellis put it quite correctly, a petulant child, for retiring for no apparent reason. And yeah, but his teammate is doing well to stay within the points. We were kind of expecting a little bit more from Theo, I wonder. He has been on these... Yeah, he's doing a 2-star. That is fortunate for Havoc Connor, because this means Cavolis will be out of DRS if he can stay this distance. Moncho is into the pits again. Theo will be coming out behind Skipper now. see Theo in the background there. He'll be in the foreground now. There he is. He will be fighting to get back to where he was now. Is this the lap for Sportmad? Yes, it is. There it is. So that is Sportmad into the pits. Is Benny going to be able to get ahead of him? See what the distance will be between Sportmad and Benny as they come out. Sportmad ends up behind Miyagi. I wonder how long that will be. It's a 2-second gap between Benny and Sportmad. But Sportmad is now on medium tyres. He is on fresh medium tyres and will likely be going to the end of the time. Let's see. Is Sportmad going to dispatch of Miyagi as quickly as possible? Or is he going to save his tyres for a little while? Just gently bring them in and then go for it towards the end of the race. He almost had to go for it there. Miyagi sliding on exit of the hairpin. He's going for it into Spoon. Oh, bit of contact and a slide. That's unfortunate for the Williams driver, but it's a very unorthodox place to go for the move, to be fair. Benny with a lock-up into the Casio triangle there. Now, it is very likely that Sportmad will get the move done here on Miyagi. And Miyagi does not fight it at all. He knows that he is on the slower tyre. He knows that if he can just stay with Sportmad for as long as possible, and stay as close as he can for the last lap, his tyres will come into play. But he's already dropped out of that 1 second. Sportmad absolutely flying around the circuit on these mediums tonight. Cavolis getting very close to the back of Havoc Connor there. Had to jump over because these two are now the closest on the track. Theo setting the fastest lap on a 1:30.4. I believe the first man in the 1:30s tonight. Relis, I'm trying to give Miyagi a little bit of hope if he is listening. Miyagi needs all of the boost that he can get right now. He's just been passed by Williams. And that's coming from a Williams fan. Sportmad is on the back of Benny right now, setting the fastest lap at 1:29.7. We'll stay on with this as they come through the S's here. But we do have Cavolis on the back of Havoc Connor as they come into the DRS zone. Is he going to be close enough to do anything? It doesn't look like it. He's barely gaining anything on Havoc Connor there. Just does not have the straight line speed. Maybe he didn't talk to Stewart earlier on for a setup. Benny defending as hard as he can. Coming out of the hairpin there. Sportmad's going for the same move again. Didn't work on Miyagi, but Benny is kinder and gives him the space on the inside. Might have been a bit of a mistake from Benny to let him through, but I guess he wants to stay ahead of Miyagi, does not want to lose out to the V car behind. He will have the DRS here to keep him as close as possible to the back of Sportbird. Gently closing, but now is the crucial point. Will he be able to keep up with him in the S's? It looks like Benny is... I was going to speak a little bit too soon. But it does look like Benny is more suited for the straight line sections here. Kavolis has actually got himself past Havoc Connor into turn 1. I do apologise, Kavolis, for missing that. Cassell is now on the back of Benny Buno, and within the 1 second as well. What is the Ferrari man going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to do anything this lap? Or even at the beginning of next lap? Thank you, Nellboy, for the update on our team. 1-0 up for Charlton. Thank you very much. And Cassell has now dropped out of that 1 second gap. So we will go back on with Havoc Connor, as he is yet again the closest driver to another driver on the circuit. Let's see, Magic Poop Cannon comes into the pits. It's probably a good time to get himself out of the way of all these other drivers that will be giving him blue flags. Moncho is quite happily following Skipper around at the back of the field. And Havoc Connor just nowhere to be seen on the back of Kavolis there. I think Connor might have hit a slight cliff on his tyres. Either that or he did not have enough ERS to afford boosting down the straight. Let's have a look. Moncho gets himself past Skipper here. Now, I did record something on an instant replay. I cannot exactly remember what it is because a lot of us happened since then. So let's have a look. Oh, it was Benny going wide, of course, into the exit of turn 2. Skipper is quite quickly dropping off of the back of Moncho. Moncho will just be pleased to have been able to make a position after spinning out in the S's earlier on in the race and then having that big slide in the Degners. So everyone seems to be very spread out. Theo, however, is catching the back of Barry Bogorovsky as they come up to 130R, which means he will be in the DRS come this start-finish straight. Let's have a look. He's burning the battery. DRS wide open. He's not going to get the pass this time around, but he will be nice and close to the back of that Red Bull ahead for the next lap. So as long as he can keep it on track and keep it close to the back of that Red Bull, he will get DRS again and potentially be able to make the move. Stewart getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple track warnings. You plonker TGL Rodney. Although that doesn't really affect him at this moment, as his teammate is the man behind him and he is 4 seconds behind. But it's always fun to call Stewart a plonker. Here we are, Theo within half a second of Barry Bogorovsky going into Spoon Curve here. Yes, Grelis, but it's a shame you haven't put any actual money on it. Bogorovsky came out of 130R very slowly there. I wonder if he had a bit of a slide going through. And now Theo is going to make the pass with DRS. No issues whatsoever. Pass done before the braking zone. Cassell is on the back of Benny Buno again. You want some Ricker appreciation? Here is, I believe it's the Lithuanian man. I'm going to be shouted at if I've gotten that wrong. Out here in the Williams in his black and gold helmet. He's got a decent cushion behind him of 5.5 seconds. I don't think he will be very upset with P5. He is 10 seconds behind P4, but that doesn't matter. As long as he gets around for the end of the race in this position, I'm pretty sure he will be quite pleased with his race so far. And Jack is out. Where is that? Oh my word, he's sideways. No, 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 no. Oh, no. Bog! Oh, Bogorovsky. Oh. Barry Bogorovsky, you absolute donut. I wonder if he was just, I don't know, picking his belly button at that point. He just did not notice. There's a full safety car. So, yeah, let's watch that back. So you can see Kazingal at the top of the hill there. Theo gets out of the way. Then you can see Bog and he goes, oh, and decides to slam into him. I'm without words. I am completely without words. So, Sportmad, Benny, Miyagi, Mars Ranger, and Ricker. Sportmad does not come into the pits. He does not come in to put the softs on. Benny is straight in. Decides to, I'm betting, the soft tyres for the last 2 laps. The guys at the back are going to have to be very, very quick to get around. Because Sportman has just caught the back of the safety car. And it will come in at the end of this lap, because there are only 2 laps left. So the likes of Benny, Miyagi, Mars Ranger, and Ricker are going to do what they can to get around to the back of Sportman. But I don't think the likes of Bogorovsky are going to be able to get back onto the snaking grid as they form up. I do wonder what went through Sportman's head, as he is one of 2 who is not on the soft tyre. And Poop Cannon has just crashed. He crashed going into the pits by the look of it. Just straight into the wall. So yeah, Sportmad is the only man on the medium tyres right now. Everyone else is on fresh, soft tyres. I think Sportmad has shot himself in the foot here. There you go. There's the call. Safety car in at the end of the lap. Sportmad is going to hope to get a massive jump on Benny. If he can catch Benny sleeping, that is his only hope of getting away from him at this point. The front four absolutely dominated this race, as you can see by the gap. Sportmad has done relatively well for that restart, but here comes Benny. Benny's getting nice and close. Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy going through mid-corner there. All Benny has to do is stay with the back of Sportmad until the end of the lap. Get the DRS and he will be gone. Mars Ranger is so close to the back of Miyagi through there. Oh, big lock up from Sportmad there. Mars Ranger dives up the inside of Miyagi at the hairpin. Grelis, I know there's no DRS for the first. Well, actually, you're right. There's going to be no DRS to the end, is there? Because the detection point isn't turned on. So Benny just has to weasel his way past. He goes for the outside of the Casio triangle. Becomes the inside and then the outside again. Does he go for the switchback? No, he stays on the outside run. DRS is now enabled, but no one is going to get it. It's a 3 wide moment into turn 1. They figure it out. Benny in front, Sportmad in second. Mars Ranger went for the up and over and got touched by Sportmad. This gives Miyagi P3 back. Kavolis now sets the fastest lap. Theo now sets the fastest lap. Oh, Sportmad, what did you do? You should have come in and put soft tyres on for the last 2 laps. You would have had a second win under your belt. Mars Ranger absolutely trying to send it wherever he can to get past Miyagi. He wants that podium position so badly. Sportmad has dropped outside of the 1 second for that 10 meters of DRS. Look at the move. Oh my word. What a pass from Mars Ranger through Spoon. Let's watch that again. Oh my word, just look at that. Just so much grip on the inside. As Benny comes around the final corner, crosses the line in first. Mars Ranger in second. Sportmad in third. Miyagi in fourth. That was a crazy end to the race. Rickert will be very happy with 5th there. Benny Buno comes across in 6th. Cassell finishes in 7th, with Stewart behind him in 8th. But are they going to be jumped? No. Kavolis in 9th. Theo in 10th. Havoc Connor not very happy with his race today, especially with speeding in the pit lane, finishes in 11th. Moncho managed to get up to P12 after being at the very back of the grid. Skipper gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Bogarovsky comes across in 13th and Skipper in the final position of 14th. Yeah, Grelis, your podium prediction was ruined by, I think, one of your best friends in Division 1 this season, Mars Ranger. But well done to Benny, Mars Ranger and Sportmad. What a crazy end to the race. Unfortunate for Miyagi not being on the podium. But, oh, that was one hell of a fight to the end there. So there you have it, folks. Race winner is Benny. Fastest lap is Theo. Driver of the day with most overtakes is Cassell. Cleanest driver is Ricker. Of course it is. So, you've got Benny up 3 positions. We've got Mars Ranger up 1. Sportman has dropped 2. Miyagi has dropped 2. Ricker up 5 positions. Benny Buno up 3. Cassell up 7. Stewart up 3. Cavolis down 1. And the final points paying position to Theo down 5 places. But he does get the fastest lap point as well. Okay, ladies and gents, it is that time of the night. I wish to thank you all for being here in the chat and watching along with me. What an absolute chaotic end to that race. Brilliant race. Thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.